What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? I don't even know why I asked that. Obviously, I know how y'all doing because I'm pretty sure y'all doing how I'm doing. But Niners lose to Buffalo yesterday to fall to 5-7 on the season. Before we get started today, I want to remind everybody about Niner Faithful Radio Shop's holiday sale. Save 20% on all our non-affiliate products like our Revenge Tour, Bang Bang Niner Gang, Faithful Then, Faithful Now, Red is for Royalty, Gold is for Glory, and our Raheem the Dream design. Make sure to go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com/shop and enter the promo code FAITHFUL to save 20%. In news out of the game, DJ Jones suffered what they believe is a high ankle sprain. I would assume he's out for the season. If he comes back at all, it would be for playoffs. Playoffs? Playoffs? You kidding me? Yes, I said playoffs. And that was my Jim Morris Sr. impression. I don't know how well I did. But also, or at the very least, the last game of the season, and guard Tom Compton was evaluated for a concussion and did not return. Also coming out of the game, the Niners will stay in Arizona for the holidays. It looks like they're not even going to try to come back to California. Richard Sherman said on his interview with Matt Mayoko that was released last night in the 49ers Talk podcast he does, he said that most likely they're probably just going to stay out in Arizona for the rest of the season and then, or at least the rest of the regular season, and then see where they're at going forward from there. Oh, also, yeah, I think that's it as far as news is concerned. So going over a little bit of the game, we're going to go ahead and jump into our turning point of the game. To me, it was a roughing the passer on Catavia Street. I mean, that to me is when the momentum of the game completely changed. I had first written down the first pick, but I don't really feel that that's where the game turned. I think that looking back, the game turned. I mean, the situation was the Niners come out and to start the third quarter, they kick a field goal to make the game 17-10. You feel they got a little bit of momentum and a little bit of, okay, hey, we're in this game. It's not over. Defense come out, get a stop, and, who knows what could happen. And it looked like that's what was going to happen. I mean, the Niners, it was 2nd and 18. They forced Josh Allen to throw the ball away, so it would have been 3rd and 18. And instead, they get the roughing the passer, which is an automatic first down. And they'll go ahead and turn the game into a 24-10 lead. And as we know, if you listen to Niner Faithful Radio preview and Niner Faithful Radio pregame that I did, the Niners are 0-6, now 0-7 when giving up 24 points or more. And, looking back, that was pretty much ball game. I think that should have really been a note. Then, yeah, there were obviously other signs, but I really believe that at that point is when the game started to turn and you felt the Niners, started to get out of it. I mean, just reading some of the stats and some of the notes that I took during the game, or, that I've taken for the show. Buffalo's first punt did not come until 3:44 left in the fourth quarter. That's insane. I mean, when you add that into the point where in the second quarter we had 4 minutes and 8 seconds, 4:08 of time of possession and 9 plays total. We were outscored 17-0. Obviously, the final score is 10 points, but essentially that's pretty much comes down to ball game. The second quarter pretty much decided that game. I mean, obviously we don't know, and most games are red in the third quarter, and our turning point did come in the third quarter. But looking back in hindsight, which I hate to do, but Yeah, it was pretty much ball game. You cut that down even to 10 points. And I feel that this is a different ball game. But to only have 9 total plays the entire second quarter and only 4 minutes and 8 seconds of time of possession, that's too much. That's 11 minutes. I'm sorry, that's 14 minutes and 52 seconds. 15 minutes and 52 seconds. There you go. 15 minutes and 52 seconds. Oh my God. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to give up on doing math today because my brain's complete. That is 10 minutes and 52 seconds. There you go. Of time of possession that Buffalo had. That's just too much to overcome. Man, too much. Me doing math right now apparently isn't good. You know, it was funny because one of my keys to the game was third down, and I felt the Niners did pretty well on third down. I mean, they ended up the game 45%. So, you know, basically 45%, which is over their season average. And they held Buffalo to 4 of 9, which is 44%. If you would have told me that the Niners would have had 45% and Buffalo would have had 44%, I would have gave this slight advantage to Niners. Now, the turning point of the game was fourth down. Buffalo was 2 of 3, which we know the one stop they were stopped on fourth down was the goal line stand to open up the game, which I really thought, like, we opened up the game. It was the formula you would thought would go into Niners victory in the opening game. They marched down the field, which obviously in hindsight was a pretty ominous sign, but we came up with a play. Niners go down. We march the field ball right to Buffalo's goal line, and you're thinking, we punch it in right here. We're up 7-0. But even after getting stopped on fourth down, obviously they fumbled the ball the very next play. After we get stopped on fourth down, on third down we punch it in to Brandon Nyuk, gets his touchdown, and you're thinking, okay, hey, this is what I like with the Niners. It's self-inflicted wounds. It seemed like every time we made a play, there was something that combated it. Fred Warner's interception, you have the illegal contact by Richard Sherman. Dion Jordan, who, when we get to our players here in a second, we're going to give him a shout out, but he gets the sack and a strip sack at that, and we don't recover the fumble. We force a what should have been a 3rd and 18, and they get a roughing the passer penalty. And it's just, it's very frustrating as a faithful to watch because I don't even know what to say. I mean, I know that a lot of people are talking about the lack of adjustments that Shanahan and Saleh showed. Well, more Saleh yesterday. And I do believe that is an issue with this coaching staff. I do believe that when we come out with a plan and the plan is executed and everything goes, I shouldn't say everything goes according to plan, but we can stay on course of what our plan is, man, it's smooth sailing. And we look like a Super Bowl caliber team. But if we're knocked off a course or, fall behind maybe by, double 2 scores, where we have to detour from that original plan, all hell breaks loose. And I mean that's something that definitely needs to be addressed this offseason. The Niners have played 3 out of the 4 top pass blocking teams with pass blocking win rate teams. Green Bay, which is number 1, Arizona, which is number 3, and Buffalo, which is number 4. I mean, that dictates their offensive line won this ball game. Josh Allen dropped back 40 times and only had 3 quarterback hits. I mean, that's winning football. You can't play championship caliber defense when your quarterback is just not harassed. He's not threatened. He has no reason to fear the rush. I mean, hit 3 times, man. I could probably take 3 hits in an NFL game, and I mean that won the game. That's literally the stat that won the game right there. I mean, we can't do that. Okay, getting into our players that shined here a little bit and a couple that didn't. Brandon Nyuk. 5 catches, 95 yards, and a touchdown. Obviously had the drop that led to Nick Mullins' first interception. Can't have that. Brandon Ayuk as much admitted to it as much in his post-game press conference. And so he's going to go ahead and be our reason of hope as well, just to kind of get that out of the way. But, Brandon Ayuk is showing that he is a number one receiver. He is our go-to receiver besides George Kittle, our go-to receiver, not our wide receiver, I should say, to not get confused, because Kittle's our number one receiver. But he's showing that look, when healthy and having the full complement of offense, this team's going to be dangerous. Debo, I'd be curious to see. I think early in the game it was pretty obvious that the team was going to feature, what Kyle Shanahan wanted to feature Brandon Ayuk. And, White was a lot on Debo Samuel, who's their best cover corner. So I'm not at all surprised that Debo was taken out in the first half. As far as receptions, I just wanted to see a couple more jet sweeps. Buffalo is vulnerable on the edges, and I would have loved to see Debo get at least a couple jet sweeps to show that we have the threat to at least run it. Obviously, I know Buffalo is going to think that we're going to do that, so they're obviously going to sell out to stop that. But even just the threat of having it and doing it 1 or 2 times, I feel that would have helped a lot. Deion Jordan, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble. That's what's up. I would say Deion Jordan, some are calling this the best game he's had as a pro. They're not so good. Travarius Moore. I know Adam and I have gone on the show and talked at length a lot about how we feel that Travarius Moore is a starting safety for this team. I think that at least has to be up in the air as far as questionable. Maybe we're starting to see why we hadn't seen him so long. It's at this point in his second year in safety, you would think he would not have issues with breaking down and tackling in space. I think that's clearly an issue that he has, and honestly, that's kind of your job as a safety, is to break down and tackle in space. And so I don't know how much of a reliable safety you can be if you can't break down and tackle in space and continuously take 4 angles in the run game. I don't want to seem like I'm picking on him. He obviously had a couple good plays, and I think that he'll be okay overall, and I think he'll learn, and he's still learning, and he's a young player. I just don't think the banging on the table for Travarius Moore, maybe that was a little bit premature for us faithful, and maybe we should have maybe started to think that maybe there's no reason that he's not on the field. Cole Beasley. 9 catches, 130 yards, 1 touchdown, a 14.4 average per reception. Stephon Diggs. Why did I say Deshaun Diggs? Stephon Diggs, 10 catches, 92 yards. Josh Allen, 32 of 40, which is 80% completion percentage. 375, which is slightly above his passing average. 4 touchdowns and a 139 quarterback rating. I just don't know what. You can't win like that when a quarterback does that. I don't. Obviously, you're going to pin this game on the defense, but those throws were amazing. Those sideline throws, the ball was getting there as the receivers were tapping their toes. It was the point, what are you going to do? They say the old football saying, a great throw beats great coverage every time. So, some of those throws were just what can we do? You can't defend that. And so, obviously, I think, especially Travarius Moore was a little slow getting over the top, which I think made Josh Allen's job a lot easier, especially with no threat of a pass rush really all night. But, tip your cap to great quarterback play, and that was honestly some great quarterback play we saw last night. y'all know who listen to the show very frequently. First of all, thank you. Second of all, y'all know me. I don't really like to. I tend to focus on what we did wrong or what we did well, and I don't want to say don't give credit to other teams, but I think I tend to go through the side of, it's more of the Niners' lack of pass rush, but I mean, even I have to admit, look, it's hard to beat a quarterback when he's playing like that. That was amazing. All right, to get a little bit of the playoff picture for us faithful who still have the sliver of hope that we do, I think our best bet is you're going to want Minnesota, who's 4-4 in the conference. They got the Bucs, Chicago, New Orleans, and Detroit left the rest of the season. Detroit, who's ahead of us, has Green Bay, Tennessee, Bucs, and Minnesota. Chicago has Houston, Minnesota, the Jags, and Green Bay. We have Washington, the Cry Girls, Arizona, and the Shecox. And Arizona has New York Giants, Phillies, Niners, and Yams. I think it's going to come down to us, Minnesota, and Arizona. And I'm not necessarily worried so much about what Arizona does. We obviously need to win out. As long as we can win within one game of Arizona, we will be able to pass Arizona, because winning out would make us have a 4-2 division record. We would give them their third loss, which means they're guaranteed to at least go 500 in the division, which would give us a better division record and hence give us the tiebreaker. Minnesota's the one that Minnesota's going to have to go 2-2. I'm assuming they're going to lose to the Bucs in New Orleans, and then you think they beat Chicago and Detroit. That would give them a 6-6 conference record. If the Niners win out, we would have a 7-5 conference record. And there you go. I think that's your playoff scenario. I believe Chicago and Detroit will take themselves out of it. Especially Detroit. I mean, they play Green Bay and Tennessee. They might be within the next couple weeks. Same with Chicago. I mean, Houston and Minnesota. Yeah, I think that both of those teams will have themselves out of the playoff race here pretty quick. But before we get out here, I'd like to remind everybody to visit NinerFaithfulRadioShop.com or NinerFaithfulRadio.com/shop and to use the promo code FAITHFUL to save 20% off all our non-affiliate gear. We shall see you Friday. Make sure to tune in to today's episode of Good Morning Niner Empire, where Jamie will be playing the talk of really the weekend with Richard Sherman, discussing his future with the Niners. We shall see y'all Friday. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners. And please remember, San Francisco 49ers don't always lose a game, but whenever we do, we're still the best team in NFL history. Stay faithful, my friends.